Alright, hello everyone and welcome to episode 28 of Zero to Hero, and we're going to quite literally kick things off with an Emperor's Cup match at, of course, a neutral stadium, and we are up against Jubilo Iwata. So we start out on the right hand side and immediately get involved with the first goal of the game that only took 4 minutes to be scored in. It was a bit of a semi-assist. I kind of started the move and it was a Suzuki goal to make it 1-0. A couple of minutes later, 16 to be exact, we had a good save from our goalkeeper to prevent Jubilo Iwata from trying to get the equaliser, and then coming out of the second half, our goalkeeper kind of parried the ball away poorly and it resulted in El Bayrak getting the rebound, the quite an easy rebound there because the goalkeeper didn't hold on to the ball to make it 1-1. 53rd minute, you can see how far back I was defending, good clearance from me, and then a couple of minutes later, once again, I kind of start the move off in the hole and get a bit of a semi-assist, and once again it is Suzuki who is the main man in the box who's putting the ball in the back of the net. So that helped us regain our lead to make it 2-1. And then a long ball forwards from one of our defenders. I think it may actually have been Suzuki that also won the ball in the air. That eventually gets played to Kono, and considering how close Kono was to the in front of the goal, he was never really going to miss from there, and that gave us a 2-goal lead, and it looked like we were potentially set to booking ourselves a place in the Emperor's Cup. I think it will have been either the semi-final or quarter-final. So yeah, whilst we don't play that well in the league here at V-Varen Nagasaki, I'm sure you guys kind of have it sussed out by now that we do tend to do well in the cup competitions for some strange reason. Yeah, anyways, 4-1 up, Marilla I think it was with the goal, and then 89th minute I'm just back doing some defending, and as you do, I just look to clear the ball towards the opposite wing where I know Suzuki is always going to be lurking on the back, on the shoulder of one of the last defenders, and before you knew it, he had a hat-trick. I was playing golf with him, and really, his goal was the final nail in the coffin for the match. So a 5-1 victory overall. This was just really a blind punt by me into the right area, and obviously really satisfying when it results in an assist. And of course, being the hat-trick hero, Suzuki also gets the match ball. Our rating wasn't too far behind him though, with a rating of 8.0 as opposed to 9.0. Next up, a league game against the Kashima Antlers at home, who are currently fighting at the top of the table. Going into this game, they were third. A win would put them in second place, and 5 minutes in, we certainly gave them a hand in trying to achieve that when we scored an own goal. It was a low cross, and then, to be fair, there were two defenders in front of the striker, so the ball wasn't really going in the net, but I'm not really quite sure how it kind of went in off one of the defenders' calves and hit the other calf and then still went in. Really weird, but regardless, even if that weird own goal hadn't gone in, it only took them another 4 minutes to make it 2. 27 minutes in, real fantastic determination from yours truly and anticipation to stop them being able to play out the back. And, you know, this isn't one of my most impressive assists, but in a way, it was really satisfying to be able to score this kind of goal because I single-handedly made it by my hard work and grit and winning the ball back, and then it was really just a pass on the table for me, and it resulted in a goal. Just before half time, you know, when you get back into it 2-1, you feel like, well, if we can hold on, you know, there's only one goal between us, we're not doing too badly, but a man who always tends to haunt us when we play against him in the form of Yuma Suzuki with an awesome curled finesse finish made it 3-1. And other than that, the second half was pretty quiet right up until what was probably the last kick of the game. Yuma Suzuki once again, great strike, placed in the top right-hand corner of our goalkeeper, and it did mean that we lost this league game 4-1. And, you know, when you win your cup game 5-1 and then lose your league game 4-1, that kind of sums up what we were talking about earlier on about us just being terrible in the league and just real solid in the cup competitions. We still got a rating of 8.5 though, and we took that rating with us into the next match against Consadole Sapporo. 33 minutes in, real good double save from the Consadole Sapporo goalkeeper, winning as a corner in the end. Not much really, nothing clear-cut happened in the remainder of that first half. Then 54 minutes in, this weird collision kind of happened on the right-hand side. Their player got up before I did. My teammate was useless as expected, and the low-drilled cross of doom, as we know in Pro Evo this year, came into the box, which resulted in Fukumitsu hitting the back of the net. And it's nice to see our defence being as useful as they always are. Kappa. Obviously, people that watch Twitch streams, I would hope, would understand my reference to Kappa, who actually follows me on Twitter, by the way, which is pretty cool, like the actual Josh Kappa guy, the guy to whom the face belongs to, like as in physically on his face. Anyways, we got subbed off, and it wasn't really surprising to see me getting subbed off because we've just played so many games recently. Not being subbed off, we've not really had a rest, and yeah, our fatigue was really just building up. We then conceded another. It was pretty much a pinpoint accuracy pass over the players that were still in the box. They didn't really move out quick enough after the free kick came back off the wall, and yeah, it was just 1-on-1 with the goalkeeper, and Fukumitsu did well to finish it. So a 2-0 loss and a rating of 6.5 for me. Up next, against Sanfrecce Hiroshima, away from home in the league, of course. And 18 minutes in, they start attacking down my right-hand side, where I obviously have no right-back behind me. A backup defender looks to join in on the action, can't stop the cross from going in. You know, I did all I physically could do there to stop them attacking down the side, but it feels like a broken record, the same thing again and again and again. And the match engine really can't deal with this weird system that we've got going on at V-Varen Nagasaki. It was a good header to get the opener, and they came very, very close to getting the second from a header, but fortunately down the other end I popped up with a nice drilled cross towards Jairo Morilla, Mr. Golden Boot of last season. Well, I mean, really, it was Mr. Golden Assister Boot, or whatever it's called, combined in there with Mr. Golden Boot of, or Golden Top Scorer, whatever on earth we want to call it, of last season. And, you know, it is going to take us to play really well to try and make sure we don't sink into that relegation zone, because our defence certainly doesn't play well, which is why we do the hard work down at one end, and then the likes of Kawabe just score an easy goal down the other end. Our defence are just far too deep, far too passive with opposition players in the box. You know, you can see from that replay there, just standing him off. And as soon as he shoots, he's scoring from that kind of position, rendering our goalkeeper useless. But anyhow, 79th minute is a lovely move from us initially, with a nice kind of cute passes going on. It allows us to release a player down the left-hand side, and Kono, who's been getting on the score sheet a fair bit this season, which is good to see. Yeah, with the nice header, pinpoint header into the bottom right-hand corner. So we didn't go down without a fight. The final score in this case was 2-2, 8.5 rating for me. And yeah, it leaves us 15th in the table, but only really a couple of points off the teams below us. So still all to play for. As for my overall, it's 59 right now. We're only 18. We are slowly but surely improving. And our actual progress is way ahead of our expected progress going into the July transfer window, which is the equivalent to our mid-season transfer window. As we know, we want to try and leave. So Marittimo is the team I tried to speak with, but talks broke down. So I thought to myself, all right, not to worry. Surely there's going to be another team out there that will want my services. So, you know, we try another Portuguese team in the form of Desportivo Aves, and they also decide they want absolutely nothing to do with me. So that's when I think, you know what, guys, let's go to Scotland. Let's go to SPL. Dundee wanted me last year, but for some reason they didn't want me. So I went to Rotherham in Yorkshire. So we'll see how that ends up materialising after this match, where we have another cross, another header conceded, and Andy Nabut makes it 1-0 for the team sponsored by Kentucky Fried Chicken. 29 minutes, another cross, another goal. Me as right midfielder, playing almost as right back. Kikuchi Jackson has a little bit of a dance going on here. And yeah, it is depressing. It really is depressing, but positively, it's the transfer window, right? We've already kind of been turned down by 3 teams. Surely there's going to be a team intelligent enough to want to purchase me, you would think. Or at least according to some people in the comments, you would think. But Konami and Pro Evolution seem to be being Konami and Pro Evolution. So this goal was really frustrating. I don't know if you guys caught that, but I was playing a pass to a guy that's literally right in front of me. And for some reason, he ran away from the ball, and that was essentially what led to them getting that 3rd goal. But it wasn't my fault. There was no wrong with my pass. So really annoying, that one. We had shots from a distance. We had crosses going into the box, but nothing we were really doing. Was unlocking the defence until I think they got a little bit complacent here, and Mirilla popped up with a nice finish from point-blank range. But it didn't really mean much because we still lost the game, which isn't what you want when you're fighting at the bottom of the table. So, a rating of 6.0 in this case, and obviously wanted to see whether or not Rotherham wanted to sign us, and unfortunately they did not. So that was when I kind of started looking at places like China, because I just needed a new challenge. So we obviously applied to Shandong Luneng, who are one of the couple of teams that are competing at the top of the Chinese league and are going for the Chinese title. So it seemed like a decent transfer. And obviously a lot of these teams that I'm choosing are based on the systems that they play, and based on the fact that I'll probably fit into those systems and get game time. Anyhow, lovely back heel from me early on, and then a quick 1-2, great dodge of the tackle, and then I was basically met with quite a simple finish to make it 1-0 as I salute the crowd. We see the cheeky dodge of the tackle, there it is, and then slammed home into that bottom right hand corner. 32 minutes, I once again find myself one-on-one with the goalkeeper, and really I've got no idea how I managed to miss from that kind of situation. But at the end of the day, I'm not a striker, so I guess, given how much I carry this team, I'm allowed to make a mistake every now and then, especially when Nakamura scores to make it 2-0. So we have a relatively decent record against Cerezo Osaka, so it was good to see that continuing, especially at home. And, you know, the chances on goal kept on coming. They had one of their own from pretty much a metre in front of the goalkeeper. It was basically a miraculous save. I don't think the goalkeeper, in our case, knew much about it there, but as long as it didn't hit the back of the net, I was happy. 77th minute, throw-in opportunity from us, one that Tony Pulis himself would have been proud of. You know, sometimes at this kind of level you need to keep it simple, and sometimes we do that, but it was a left-footed strike from me, and my left foot is always quite dodgy, as we know. Yeah, we give away a penalty. I'm not really sure what it was for, to be honest. There was a challenge in there. It was very, very soft. But as Maruhashi stood up to take it, he decided to take it straight at our goalkeeper. So double save for Mr. Will Trapp. I think he's called Will Trapp. I can't remember. I remember looking him up. He's got an American parent and a Japanese parent or something like that. We signed him in the last transfer window. Talking about transfer window, lovely finish from me. Someone should sign me up this transfer window. This was kind of unfortunate for Cerezo Osaka, but credit where it's due to me for being on my toes, you know, and bombing up that right-hand side to get into the space and to counter-attack the opposition. Another goal to my name. Very easy, very simple finish. And, yeah, a 3-0 win. I also managed to get the all-important Man of the Match award with a rating of 9.0. Will Pop, sorry, not Will Trapp. Will Pop is the name of our goalkeeper, half Japanese, half American. And, yeah, Shandong Luneng were also not interested in us. So, this was when, my friends, we decided to try and give transfer request to go to Mother Russia. So we will see. Football will be very, very, very cold, very snow. But Mr. Putin, hopefully he give us nice salary, as long as he doesn't see the highlight of that penalty I just gave away. I think, to be honest, I remember giving away this penalty and just kind of thinking to myself, Karam, why are you pressing tackle here? That you had no reason to press tackle. But this kind of whole episode was amidst a long kind of gaming and recording session, and I was getting really, really annoyed with what was happening in the transfer window, that I think I was just venting a little bit of frustration, to be honest. So yeah, we were 1-0 down, potentially at the expense of me being immature. which you kind of get in football with 18-year-olds. But yeah, I put my thinking cap on, helped get the semi-assist towards Suzuki there. It was a nice back heel from whoever it was in the middle. Set up by myself, of course. It was Marilla, there you go. That's the thing about Suzuki. He's always in the right place at the right time. We do have that chemistry, Marilla, Suzuki, me and Suzuki, as we've seen over the years. 63rd minute, they have a chance, but luckily it goes into the side netting. 76th minute, we win the ball back in midfield. We mount an attack, and really it was just a normal day at the office for yours truly. Very simple pass for me to play in, but it was about being at the right place at the right time to allow Isomura to, instead of rather go to the ball and kind of slow himself down and potentially not create the clear-cut chance, I was there to almost allow him to continue making that run, which made sure he was in that position where he had a clear shot on goal. 82nd minute, ball whipped into the box, and it put any fears aside as Marilla volleyed home. 2 goals to the good with the score at 3-1. A nice gap building up for us away from home here. Important 3 points potentially, but it gave us that breathing space we needed until the last, well, what was almost the last kick of the game when they got another goal back. It was a nice back heel in the box, to be fair, but fortunately we were able to hold on. Another 3 points for us, 3-2 the score, and a full-time rating of 9.0 to us, even though we did not get man of the match. We're in 14th place, and obviously we get another punt at which team we might want to try and join. The problem is, you know, time's ticking, and we don't want the window to close. So Kashima Antlers are currently just a couple of points off Kashima Reysol at the top of the Japanese league. So I thought to myself, hey, look, let's at least try and, you know, win the Japanese division, or see if we can get a transfer to one of the top teams in Japan. Because, you know, relative to how we perform here with V-Varen Nagasaki, we're quite familiar with this league, and we're quite a solid player for this league, and that goal was proof of that. I'm a right midfielder, but I'm versatile, I'm intelligent, I know how to drag, you know, opposition players away to make room for my opponents, but I also am able to make those runs into the box from deep in almost Frank Lampard-esque fashion, or even better player than Frank Lampard, the one, the only, Bradley Dack-esque fashion. Suzuki gets the second with the header at the back post, and it looked like we were slowly, potentially mounting a second half climb out of the relegation zone. I mean, we never really quite dropped into the relegation zone, but yeah, you know, and every little helps, as a famous supermarket once said. I've said it before when it comes to the relegation zone. Any points you can get, awesome stuff. And Kono tapped it home. Also, I mentioned this in the last episode. The past 2 episodes have been quite large episodes. The reason being is because we wanted to rush and try and get to the transfer window, and the highlights have been a little bit shorter. You know, we've mainly only focused on clear-cut chances. If you guys prefer this type of format, let me know. And we'll see what we can do rather than the smaller, more frequent episodes. I did eventually get substituted off. I got clapped off by the fans though, so, you know, despite all the rumours they've been hearing from Jim White in the Sky Sports News Japan studios, they're still big fans of me, despite knowing that I've handed in a transfer request. As we can see, the Kashima Antlers are 5 points off the top of the league at the moment, should they decide to take us on board. Negotiation day came along, and the negotiations went really well. So it was nice to see that my agent did something useful for once. And as you can probably guess, we ended up signing for them. And there we go. The transfer was confirmed. They play a 4-2-2-2. We can play in one of the central midfield positions and not get penalised for not just protecting the back four like we did early in our V-Varen Nagasaki days as a defensive midfielder. We can also play either on the right-hand side or the left-hand side as well of midfields. So we can basically play anywhere in the 4-man midfield that Kashima Antlers have. I know a lot of people wanted us to go to Europe, but as we saw, it's been a bit of a struggle. And to be honest, I think I'd rather go to somewhere like the Kashima Antlers and fight for a title than go somewhere like Ligue 2 and just basically, you know, sit in a mid-table side. But anyways, that is going to be it for this video. If you enjoyed it, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, and as always, thanks for watching.